I've done over $10 million in sales without handling objections, using gimmicky sales tactics, or persuading people to buy. Today, I'm going to walk you through 3 of my best tips for making more sales without having to be salesy. First, the best way to approach sales is by thinking about what sales actually is. It's a relationship. So when you think about the relationships you've been in, what's the biggest turnoff? Maybe you're thinking about that one partner who never picked up their socks, or that one who still lived with their parents. But for me, and I've noticed for a lot of people, that answer is desperation. And guess what? It's the exact same thing in sales, because people can sense when you're desperate for them to buy. But also, speaking from personal experience, I know it's hard to not feel that way, especially when you're starting out. I remember feeling so attached to every potential sale, like I had to get it to prove that I could do it, or else I and my business were gonna be big failures. But then I discovered what is now one of my favorite quotes from one of the most influential salespeople and thought leaders out there, Zig Ziglar. This quote tells you how to overcome that feeling of desperation. And once I started using it, it was a game changer. He said, you can have everything you want in life if you can just help other people get what they want. This way, you're shifting the focus from me, which can eclipse everything, to you, as in your potential client. What do they want? But, and this is super important, I could not have made the shift if it wasn't for one key factor. It was a lot easier for me to release my attachment to needing each sale and thus focusing on what my potential client actually needed, because I didn't actually need the money. Not because I was so rich, I wasn't, but because at the time I was still working my full-time job and thus getting paid a salary. So I didn't need that sale to be able to pay my bills. Now, in some ways, I did still feel like I needed the sale, like to prove that I could actually do it. So I wasn't perfectly detached from wanting to make the sale, and you don't have to be either. But I was able to switch up my thinking so that I no longer had that desperate energy around each sale. And this will make such a big difference in helping you make more sales too, which is why this is tip number 1. Do what you need to do to set yourself up so that you don't need the sale. And the cool thing is, you might start noticing that as soon as you do this, you almost instantly start getting better at sales too. And there's science behind this as well. By letting go of the need for something, you automatically reduce your stress. And this is key because when you're stressed, you lose a huge percentage of your thinking capacity. But if your brain is shut down, how in the world are you going to be able to focus on how you can help the other person and thus come across as way more confident and attractive to them? Because don't forget, you already know how to help a potential client. You've got your experience and skills. All you have to do is get out of your own head so that you can let your experience and skills shine. That means figuring out what level of ease you need to not be stressed. For example, for me initially, that meant not leaving my job until I'd made over 6 figures in my side business at the time. I know I am very risk averse, but what you need might look totally different, and of course that's fine. Because only when you feel taken care of first can you then focus on being able to help others, which is ultimately the key to making sales. Because only when you feel that confidence first in your ability to help, can you then instill that confidence in your client to trust in your ability to deliver. But the problem with this is that most people look to their future accomplishments to validate themselves and give themselves that feeling of confidence. For example, I've heard so many clients say, I will be confident that I can build my dream business after I hit this next revenue goal or get this next client. But when you do that, you are literally giving your confidence away. Not only that, but this kind of thinking feeds into our worst enemy, imposter syndrome. Because now you are basing your confidence on something that you have not yet done, so of course you feel like an imposter. Have you felt this way before? I ask because it really is so common, and I think it helps to know that you are not alone. That's why tip number 2 to help you own your confidence, and in doing so, be able to instill way more confidence in your potential clients, is base your confidence on your past, not your future. For example, when I first started doing career coaching, I had been giving free advice to someone who was actually an ideal client for a while. So I decided to pitch them my coaching offer, which was actually my first time doing it. But I did it in a way that made me feel more confident because I was honest with what I brought and didn't bring to the table. I literally said, I know my stuff, but I haven't done formal coaching before, so I'd love to try it with you if you're open to it. I'll get to build my coaching skills and you will get a ton of accountability. Plus, since I am new to coaching, I am going to offer you an incredible price. When you do it this way, you basically eliminate imposter feelings because you are presenting yourself exactly as you are, no more, no less. Thus, nothing to feel like an imposter about. But to be clear, this does not mean that I was unsure about my ability to deliver, because I knew, and I made sure that they knew too, that I was confident I could bring it because of my existing experience and skills. For you as well, this is what you can base your confidence on too. Plus, it's all we've got anyways. So own it. It is enough. High five to that. But even as you implement these first 2 tips, you might still be fighting an internal battle that can make the idea of sales feel icky. When you feel that way, I encourage you to dig a little deeper into why that sale feels so hard and forced. And I believe it ultimately comes down to the same thing for most of us. We give making the sale too much meaning. In fact, there might be a whole waterfall of meaning that's impacting your ability to make more sales. Maybe you've thought to yourself, if I make this sale, I can finally feel confident, which then leads you to think, hey, that sale will prove that I can build my dream business. Then you might start picturing yourself turning in your notice to your boss and then walking out the doors to your brighter and better future. So now you've made the connection to making just one sale to finally having your dream business and life. How stressful, right? Now it feels like that if you don't make that one sale, you might never be able to have your dream business and life. But when you give each sale so much meaning, of course it's gonna feel so much more stressful to have to make each sale. To prevent this, I recommend tip number 3. Redefine the meaning that you're giving each sale. And the best way to do this is to actually look at each sale from a negative perspective, where you look at all the things you're gonna have to do after you've made the sale. You're gonna have to actually do the work. You might have to deal with setting boundaries with your new client. You're gonna have to find time to do that work outside of your already busy job. And once you've listed out all the ways this sale will add more stress and work to your life, it grounds you and it stops you from going into that waterfall of meaning. Because the fact is, it's just one sale. In the grand scheme of things, it's not going to change your life yet. Which means, yes, it's awesome, but also it's no big deal, which will actually help you make it a lot more easily. Because while you should absolutely want each sale, the truth is no fancy tactic or script is going to help you as much as detaching from your need to make each sale. Instead, when you're confident in what you bring to the table and are able to focus on how you can best help your potential client, you will naturally be able to communicate the value and effectiveness of your offer so much better. And that's how you will be able to make even more sales without having to use any gimmicky tactics. I truly hope that this has helped you shift the way that you think about sales, and I would love to hear from you. What's the biggest takeaway that you got from this video? And how can you see it potentially transforming the way that you approach sales so that you're able to make a lot more sales while feeling so much better about it too?